You're watching News Channel 8, the Bay Area's #1 choice for news. Live from the News Center, this is News Channel 8 on your side, the late edition.
Tonight, the massive storm with ravaging winds. Hurricane Charley barrels into the west coast of Florida after taking a somewhat surprising turn. Good evening, everyone. I'm Gail Sears.
I'm Bob Hyde. Thank you for being with us tonight.
The Category 4 storm struck west central Florida at Charlotte Harbor in Charlotte County at 3:45 this afternoon with a combination of water and wind. President Bush declared that county and several surrounding counties disaster areas. Florida Governor Jeb Bush puts the early damage estimate at $15 billion. At least 3 people have been killed across the state, and more than 50 injuries are reported in Punta Gorda. We have crews covering the hardest hit areas of our state, but tonight's 8 on Your Side team coverage begins with Chief Meteorologist Steve Jervey. He's in our forecast center. Steve?
Well, guys, you said it at 3:45 this afternoon, a Category 4 hurricane, a major hurricane that just at 11 a.m. was forecast to be over Tampa Bay at 8 p.m., changed direction to the northeast and headed for Charlotte Harbor, where it arrived in the afternoon and eventually moved inland over Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte and eventually Arcadia, Wauchula, Zolfo Springs into the southern portion of Polk County, right through the east of Lakeland and right over the Haines City area into Orlando and now emerging on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Let's take a look first of all at the coordinates, 29.1 north and 81.1 west. Those are the numbers as of 11 o'clock. You can see still a Category 1 hurricane with 85-mile-per-hour winds. Where is it? Right now on the radar picture, as you can see, it is moving off of the east coast at this point, south of Jacksonville. As we loop things, you can actually see that storm as it winds up off the coastal areas. There's actually cooler water out here than we've seen in the Gulf of Mexico, those 85-degree-plus temperatures, and that storm will continue on that northeasterly path. Flipping over to Viper here, again, you can see the stronger wind gusts within this area itself, and you're going to zoom into this area, moving off of Daytona Beach at this point, and the latest loop will show that perhaps wind gusts maybe up to 58 miles per hour. So clearly we're seeing the intensity come down within this area, but this has been a wild ride for most of the Bay Area this afternoon, and you can see those peaking winds as they come off the coastal areas of Daytona. Now let's go back here and talk a little bit about the satellite picture. The imagery is showing the enhanced satellite pictures show that track move across the state from southwest Florida right across the News Channel 8 viewing area, including Polk County, getting some heavy winds, 80, 90, 100 miles per hour inland, just like Hurricane Donna back in 1960. A very similar path, incredibly similar 44 years ago. And we're going to draw that comparison coming up a little bit later on the newscast, show you the path and the rough estimate that I did on this storm today. And it's eerily similar in many ways. That, and they did have 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts in places like Polk County. And, of course, as we get throughout the day for tomorrow, we're going to see some of the devastation left behind by this storm. This is a look at our tornado watches in effect, and we follow through Friday at 11:45. You see the timestamp underneath the storm teammate number there. And as we roll throughout the day, you can see how that storm crossed the state with its powerful winds and still is. It's lost a lot of steam, but still is a powerful hurricane. In Orlando, reporting wind gusts of 85 miles per hour. And at 9 o'clock, and then eventually over in Daytona Beach at Daytona Beach International Airport, 85 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts over on the East Coast. This was a powerful hurricane of Category 4 strength. Now, blinding rain pummeled Punta Gorda this afternoon. This is video from the dashboard of photojournalist Maurice Capobianco in the area as Charley made landfall. You can see street lights dangling and other things, too, as the palm fronds are whipped about, palm trees been down, trees down in this area, major damage. We'll get more on that, of course. We'll have complete coverage of that tomorrow on News Channel 8, but this just gives you a sample of what it's like in a Category 4 hurricane as it came ashore in and around Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte. Devastating to these folks, especially when a lot of them had planned to see this storm go further up the coast. And literally within a couple of hours, this storm changed direction as we tracked on Viper throughout the afternoon. And indeed on Viper, we've been showing you for a couple of days that forecast path on our computer model within Viper itself that forecast that model to go south when a lot of the models were pulling in west. You got to give it credit, and it really followed that path almost exactly. Unfortunately for those folks and our neighbors down to the south, and also unfortunately for the folks in the inland areas in Arcadia, places like Hardy, DeSoto County, into Polk County, Highlands County as well. They got hammered pretty decently, as well as parts of Manatee and Sarasota County. So this was quite an experience with a major hurricane. Jennifer Hill is here to give us a little bit more news. And Jen, I'm not sure I want to even mention it, but there's a couple of new tropical systems.
You know what they say, when it rains, it pours, and unfortunately we have two new things to talk about. Now, they are right now pretty far away from us. We have one that's just coming off the Cape Verde Islands, and then another one heading towards the Windward Islands. And we're going to take a closer look at this one as we see it coming off of Africa at this point, looking pretty healthy. So healthy, in fact, that it's now a tropical storm. Tropical storm Danielle. You can see it's forecast right now to stay a tropical storm all the way through 8 o'clock Wednesday. Things just not favorable for any further development with that storm at 12.7 north, 24.8 west. Now we have another system here that unfortunately looks a little bit too similar to Charley for my taste. This is TD number 5, Tropical Depression number 5, 9.4 north, 48.3 west. Right now moving west at 21 miles per hour, winds at 30 miles an hour at this point, making a tropical depression. But you can see it is forecast here to become a tropical storm, and that become Tropical Storm Earl. And then Hurricane Earl, kind of taking that same track that Charley did, as we see it moving through the Caribbean. But once again, this is through 8 p.m. Wednesday. We have a lot of time with that storm. But what I have to say I liked about going through this whole thing with Charley was it was good to see whether or not you were ready to face a storm that was coming towards their area. And I have to say, Gail, that I'm pretty much going to leave everything up where it is, up on blocks, up on their furniture for a while, Gail, because it was just way too much work. And I'm going to keep an eye on these storms for you throughout the week.
All right, Jen, thank you. And it was a lot of work to get ready, but it was the right thing to do. Look at all these folks tonight. All these people who endured hours of traffic on the Howard Franklin Bridge can head in the other direction. Pinellas County emergency managers lifted the evacuation order for the entire county this evening. Pinellas deputies urge patience when re-entering the county because it could take a while. Officials also lifted the evacuation order in Hillsborough County tonight. These are pictures from Eagle 8 when thousands of people headed east on Interstate 4 yesterday. Tampa International Airport hopes to reopen again in the morning. The city will also resume garbage pickup in the morning.
Well, our section of the Suncoast dodged the bullet.
Yeah.
The latitudes farther south of us certainly did not. They did not fare well at all. That is especially true in Lee and Charlotte counties where Charley came ashore with wicked winds. Right now, the National Guard is conducting search and rescue operations. Damage is extensive. Peter Bernard continues our storm team coverage with a look at the aftermath. Pete, come in.
Well, Bob, Charley's fury is evident all around this community. It will be quite some time before life around here gets back to normal. These overturned gas pumps behind me are just one example of the extensive damage around this area. Some people have lost their homes and will have to start over again. The devastation along Danforth Drive in Charlotte Harbor is overwhelming. Every single home near the banks of the Peace River is damaged, some much more than others. Fred Jenkins rented this home 2 weeks ago with his wife, 3 sons, and a daughter. Charley's winds cut the place in two.
It's devastating. Just unbelievable.
Will you rebuild?
Oh, that's not up to me. I was just a renter.
You're a renter, but you lost all your internal stuff.
Everything.
His big screen TV is overturned and waterlogged. A couch is floating in a nearby canal. Clothes, bedding, and belongings are all gone. The roof has given way and sits precariously above the rain-soaked belongings.
Were you here?
No, we left an hour before it hit, thank God. This was my living room right here.
With no insurance, it will be up to Jenkins to replace the items lost to Charley. His family will stay with a brother.
I thought the ceiling looked wet over here, so we're leaking all over the place up top.
Down the street, Brian Foray had moved all his stuff up off the floor, hoping to protect it from the flooding. Hurricane Charley took off his roof, allowing water to come in from above.
Pretty much total. Roof's gone, totally wet inside. Screen cage is, everything is blowed away here. Trees down.
Tell me you're insured.
Yes.
Foray's electronics are ruined. Almost every room in his house has a leak. Hours after the storm roared through, his floors are still sopping wet.
It's raining through their ceilings, and it hasn't rained here in an hour.
Around the neighborhood, trees are stripped of all their leaves. Power lines are draped across the road. Debris litters shrubs and bushes. Out on Interstate 75, tall lights are buckled over like a green twig. A pile of debris, including plywood, shingles, and electrical conduit, sits near the southbound lanes. A motel sign is blown out. A huge tree branch is splintered like a matchstick. While much of the Bay Area is relieved Charley didn't score a direct hit along the coast, the people who live around Port Charlotte have a long cleanup ahead of them. And to get down here from I-75 to Port Charlotte, I had to follow a convoy which included an electrical crew with a giant pair of snips. They were going through and cutting electric lines that were across the road and allowing the traffic to go, and we had to go block by block. Needless to say, that took a long time. Right now, streets are littered with debris. There are power poles down. There are power lines down. Lots of tree limbs down. It's just not safe to travel around out there right now, and they're advising people to stay off the roads unless you have to get out there. Jeff Patterson was near the storm as it came into the landfall area here, and he has more on the damage around here.
All right, Peter, let me tell you about our trip down here, too, as a matter of fact. It was a very difficult trip to get down here. First of all, we're standing in front of what's left of an Ace Hardware store. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. You can see the wall is down there back right now. But just getting down here this evening and throughout the storm, very difficult process. We'll show you some of that storm video in just a moment, but I can tell you as we drove down here, we were driving through some of the brunt of those winds in a large SUV. We parked at one point in what we thought was a fairly safe space, and the wind was really just kind of lifting the SUV off the ground. It was at that point we decided to take a much safer harbor and pull back, if you will, to get to another place. After that, after the storm had passed, coming down here to Charlotte County was also difficult. A number of down street lights, as Peter mentioned. There were power lines down across the roads. We watched the wind as those tree limbs were stripped. We saw branches and leaves falling like a green shower in front of us. And so, of course, we had to keep an eye out for tree branches and large other objects as they were flying across the roadway. We eventually made our way down here to Charlotte County, and this is what is left of an Ace Hardware store here. People in this community, as they came up today to see this, were devastated just to see that this building that has been standing here for more than 25 years suffered this much damage. There were people in tears here today as they came to watch it. But of course, there were also a number of homes in this area that were completely destroyed. As Charley approached Charlotte County, we headed for Boca Grande. But the wind became so intense, making it over the bridge to Gasparilla Island was impossible. Just standing up was not easy. It's now 5 o'clock and the storm has passed us, but as you can see, the wind is still significantly strong. There's a lot of debris flying around in the air here. We were going to try to go out to Boca Grande, but it's just too dangerous right now to make it over the bridge. As we were there, further south, Charley was ripping apart homes and businesses along the coast. The hardest hit areas in Charlotte County at Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda. Off Port Charlotte Road, several homes were ripped apart. Pete Windsor rode the storm out in his home and wished he hadn't.
Anybody hurt around here?
No, not that I know of.
You have to be thankful for that, but one also has to wonder, why did you decide to stay here during the storm?
Well, we didn't think it was going to be this severe. So this morning was a Category 1. They went to a Category 3, and all of a sudden it went to a 4. So they said if you haven't left now, it's too late. So we just hid in the bathroom, put the mattress over top of us, and rode it out.
Bill Hansen moved to Florida from Massachusetts in March.
This is my first hurricane I've been through, and I don't want to go through another one. I tell you that right now.
Things got so bad in the neighborhood as trees cracked, power lines fell, and homes ripped apart. France Prine thought he might lose his life.
For long, I thought I was going to lose my life. The way, the house was shaking, and so many noise, the garage door, the window broken, everything.
Along the way, we saw down signs, damaged businesses, overturned trucks, and even a shed in the road. One business is a near total loss. It's the Ace Hardware store in Port Charlotte, the same store that helped others prepare for the storm.
I was going to be here. I thought this would be the safest place, and thank God that we didn't, because, I just never thought this would ever happen.
Tonight, people in Charlotte County wanted to go to their homes to inspect the damage, but the roads are very dangerous. Mark Abbott is with the search and rescue team from Pasco County. He came with others from Pasco County tonight to help, but the damage is nearly overwhelming.
Another guy where that entire house had just literally exploded on him. He was in his living room with his wife and kid. When it started to explode, they ran into the bathroom, and literally the whole house was just sucked out, and even their roof in the bathroom was sucked out, and there was only 2 walls standing.
Today, this man watched as his shed blew apart.
And then we came out, I saw the shed door go off, I grabbed it, put it back in the shed,
by the time I got back from the shed, the whole shed was gone by the time I got back to the house.
And of course, tonight we know that many people lost more than their sheds. There was also a overturned RV in that man's front yard. A lot of people have lost a lot down here in Charlotte County, and we're only now just beginning to get out and see the damage. Of course, now it's dark, and it really is dangerous because of those down power lines for us to be out driving around. So first light tomorrow, of course, we'll have crews out doing a better site survey, getting a better feel for how widespread the damage is. We've heard from a number of people tonight that there are a number of neighborhoods that have lost many of the homes in those neighborhoods, and so we'll be working tomorrow to go out and confirm that. One thing I can tell you tonight is that we've watched a lot of law enforcement come down US 41. We've watched convoys of state troopers that have been coming into the area to offer help. We understand that there has been difficulty in the local communications for the police department here because, of course, they've suffered significant wind damage to their communications facilities. And so the state troopers are a welcome sight for many people in this area, just to even help here to prevent looting in some of the neighborhoods and things like that. But, Bob, we're going to go to Pine Island after this is over and try to see some damage there.
Roger that, Jeff, and I should be meeting you there in about 2.5 hours, assuming I can get through. Jeff Patterson, Peter Bernard, thank you very much, reporting from a lot of devastation in Charlotte County. To see more footage of when Hurricane Charley first made landfall in Charlotte County, log on to TBO.com. On the front page, you'll see a photo gallery link. There are some great pictures there, or some dreadful pictures, depending on how you want to look at it. You can also submit your own photos, which we would appreciate it if we could document that.
There is extensive damage across Polk County. We're hearing there are down power lines, making most roads impossible to pass through. Polk reporter Jennifer Lee continues tonight's 8 on Your Side team coverage. Jen, what is the latest from where you are right now?
Well, gosh, Gail, right now I'm at I-4 and U.S. Highway 27. It's a nice, safe, high and dry place that we can be right now. But if you look behind me, you can see this is just pretty indicative of the kind of debris we're seeing all over the county. This is a giant it came from a 50-foot interstate sign for the Holiday Inn here along the interstate. It's just crumpled on the ground. That, along with power lines, along with mobile home debris, down trees, we're seeing that kind of thing all over the county. Because of those downed power lines, though, we have 300,000 people in Polk County, that's the estimate from EOC, that are without power right now. That is more than half the population of Polk County that is without power right now. As you said, the downed power lines are to blame for that, and those are extremely dangerous. We basically went through an obstacle course along Highway 60 eastbound because power lines were down on the road. It is absolutely unsafe to travel. You should stay off the roads. EOC officials are also recommending that the more than 3,000 people that are inside of their shelters tonight stay put, stay where you are, ride this out until the morning. We know the weather has improved, but it's not time to get out on the roads. It's just not safe. Also, Lake Wales is under a boil water order at this time for all customers of the Lake Wales municipal water. Lake Wales was extremely hard hit. We went out to that area. That is one of the areas where there are a lot of power lines down as well, and they are urging people in those communities, in the community of Lake Wales, to boil their water. Also, I'm told that eastbound Highway 60 east of Lake Wales is also shut down right now because a 50-foot sinkhole has opened up in the road, and they believe a vehicle is down inside of that, but they don't know if anyone is inside the vehicle. They're working to get emergency crews out there, but again, it's very difficult because of the impassability of the roads. All of this, of course, because of Hurricane Charley. I was in Fort Meade earlier today, and I want to show you some video that we took down there in Fort Meade as the eye was passing over us. The storm, really severe weather of the storm, rolled in probably after 7 o'clock. That's when we are estimating that the eye came over. The winds were unbelievable. We saw signs flying through the air that should have been on the sides of businesses. We saw a fence just absolutely destroyed, trees down. Trees are down, in fact, all the way from US 17, Fort Meade, all the way north to Bartow. It's almost impassable there. In addition to that, we went out to Lake Wales. I want to show you some pictures there of a nursing home in Lake Wales that was damaged. It's the Grove Center Nursing Home on 11th Street. They suffered some damage to their roof. Their air conditioning system basically blew off. The rain got in, damaged some ceiling tiles inside. The good news and the very important news is that no one inside that nursing home was injured. There were about more than 100 residents and 125 staff and their family members that were inside at the time. They are all safe tonight. However, their vehicles that were parked out back are damaged. The windows apparently apparently blown out, we presume from some of the pressure. Also, just on our way down here, I want to show you some pictures of a gas line fire that we encountered on Highway 27. Emergency crews were aware of the situation. They had called the gas company to alert them that there was a problem. The gas company is on its way out. That is not affecting really anyone in any populated areas. There's not really anybody out here on the roadway. That's just a snippet of some of what we've been able to get around and see here in basically the pitch black of night because power is out in most locations in Polk County. I do want to tell you that emergency operations managers have already notified the state to tell them of some of the needs they anticipate having tomorrow. Those include additional emergency management personnel, additional public works personnel, and 2 strike teams of fire services. That basically amounts to 10 additional fire trucks. We anticipate that the sheriff's office is also going to have some additional needs, but they are waiting at this point to put out the word for what they need to other agencies in the state until they see what the damage brings us come daylight. And I have to be honest with you, Gail, I've covered a lot of storms in Polk County, and I've never seen the kind of damage that I'm seeing out here. It's widespread, and it seems to be pretty extensive.
I heard you calling in earlier this evening when the power lines were coming down, and you were actually fearing for your safety at that point and the safety of some of our other crews who are in the area. So we've got a lot of folks being affected by that same kind of situation, and Jen, your perspective offers a lot. You grew up in that community.
I did, and you know what? It's disappointing to see that. We really have dodged many bullets in the past, and I'm hopeful that when we see this in the daylight, that it's not as bad as I fear it might be. But I think we're going to be dealing with a lot tomorrow.
All right. Well, stay safe, Jen.
Thank you.
We'll be checking back with you, of course.
We have an amazing stable of reporters.
Yes, we do.
Thoroughbreds, one and all.
Yep.
Jen must have been out there for 25 hours. There's also severe damage to report further south in DeSoto County. A curfew is in effect there tonight, and all major roads are blocked. Earlier today, more than 1,200 people thought they could escape Charley's wrath in a shelter, but witnesses say the walls peeled back like a zipper in a facility in Arcadia. One person suffered some minor injuries, and the extent of the damage won't be known until morning. Rod Carter joins us now from Arcadia. Good morning, Rod.
Hey, good morning to you, Bob. You know, one EOC official described this place and all the damage as widespread and severe, and this certainly proves his point. We are in a downtown shopping area. It's kind of a strip plaza near the downtown area. This is one of the few areas that we actually had access to. And as you can see, there's twisted metal, there's wood everywhere, concrete chunks are everywhere. This place is just, as he said, the damage is widespread and it is very severe. Now, a couple things we want to point out to you. No one in the entire DeSoto County area has any power tonight, and EOC officials tell me that no one in the city of Arcadia has any water. That EOC official described this thing in 2 words. He said, it's bad, and it certainly was bad for those several folks who sought a safe place from the storm, suddenly to find that place becoming unsafe. In Arcadia, the place set up to shelter people from the storm becomes a target itself.
All of a sudden, the eye came to the west of us, and it just collapsed the roof.
Eugene Cashwell was among the 1,400 plus people from the small DeSoto County town who hunkered down at the Turner Center to ride out the storm. That is until Charley came crashing in.
It was something. It was pretty scary.
Scary because the roof started to cave in, so officials moved everyone to the back of the building. But it got worse, and everyone was forced to leave when the roof collapsed altogether.
Terrifying. You have to ask him. I can't talk. It was scary.
Bad. The roof started coming out?
Yeah, the roof tore like this.
The roof started tearing
and then it came in, and the stuff just started flying.
That stuff she saw was insulation. It's strewn all about that building. Chairs and tables toppled. Rain pouring through a roof now near the floor. You can see that damage clearly from the outside. The sides of the structure twisted and torn in two.
I just thought we was going to die. At first they said be calm and stuff. This is a good, safe place. I mean, that's not the reason I came out here.
Hoping to avoid being caught in destruction like this. All of Arcadia looking like a war-torn city. Destroyed property, trees snapped, debris on the streets. people looking at what Charley left in its wake and now looking for hope in that rubble. And all of those pictures are the aftermath of Hurricane Charley, but we have someone here who sat through the entire thing. Chief photojournalist Paul Lamison was here when that rain started coming down and all that wind started pounding. Describe that for us.
It was amazing. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. I've been in storms. I've been in rainstorms. I've lived in Florida for almost 30 years, and I've never seen anything like that. Rain was going sideways. It was flying in the air. Debris was flying by. I was actually scared for a minute. Normally, I mean, covering storms, I don't really get scared, but this time I really was scared. And I put some stuff together, and let's take a look at the package that I put together.
I arrived in Arcadia before the storm, but not by much. The wind started picking up, damage already around. I saw this mobile home blow over. I needed a safe place to battle Charley. That's when it started.
That's the worst storm I've ever been in. It's winds about 100 miles an hour, and all the trees have blown over, and the roof's coming off the motel.
Ken Pearson and I watched from outside the Highway Motel just south of town. Hurricane Charley was here.
Right now, you wouldn't believe how hard the wind's blowing. I'm in the middle of the storm in Arcadia. It's actually rocking cars, sheets of water, pieces of wood, pieces of roof. Everything is flying by. It's just an incredible sight. Let's take a look.
Yeah, this is far beyond anything I could have comprehended. Just totally amazing. Oh man, power lines down, trees gone, roofs going and gone.
Terry Malley, the owner of the motel.
Like a rush, but panic. It's just watch it blown away, man. It's just your livelihood, your business, parts of your building. My wife's in tears. I mean, I'm emotional too. I'm ready to cry.
Now, Mr. Malley told me that he's going to go out, check out the hotel. He doesn't think it's a complete loss, but he's afraid his carport behind him and the house might be. So he doesn't know where he's going from here either. It's just going to be a mess tomorrow morning when the first light comes.
All right, Paul, some incredible pictures there. A couple things we want to remind you of, that there is a curfew in effect here in DeSoto County until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Also, they want to make sure that no one, absolutely no one, is on the roads out here because they are jam-packed. In fact, emergency officials are having a very difficult time getting around because of all the cars out here. So just a couple things we want to point out to you, Bob.
Rod, thank you very much. You and Paul, just remarkable reporting, the way you fellas put yourselves in harm's way out there. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Well, it has been a whirlwind day for just about everyone in the Bay Area. Some have been spared, while others were caught off guard by Charley's unpredictable path. Next, more unsettling video shows us the power of a Category 4 hurricane as it makes landfall. And later, the Sarasota County community lines up to return home after a trying day of worry and relief.
Closed captioning brought to you by
Belts and Ruth, a law firm representing victims of automobile accidents. Call today for a free appointment.
Hi, I'm Bob from FPL with an important storm message.
At FPL, our experienced teams are prepared and practice for any type of storm.
We know that being without power is not easy for you.
If you're affected, rest assured we'll be working round the clock to restore power once the winds calm down.
We care about your family's safety.
So please, avoid standing water, fences, and trees that can be energized by downlines. If you see a downline, stay away and call us at 1-800-4OUTAGE.
We're prepared and ready to go.
You know, I'll never understand why they call it the long jump. I mean, the long jump? Ridiculous. Please, you're jumping into a sandbox. That's like a bunny hop on skis. Hey, I'm just playing with you guys. Good luck in Athens.
At Sprint stores now, get a Samsung VGA 1000 picture phone for $79.99. Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
Catalonia, Spain, the Borges family grows olives on 1,000-year-old trees.
And when they're ripe, they're cold pressed.
To make an extra virgin olive oil that is rated, even by Italians, to be among the world's finest.
It's the only extra virgin olive oil we use at Carrabba's Italian Grill.
Our original family recipes are made from scratch daily, using only the finest ingredients from around the world.
Enjoy the difference extra virgin olive oil makes in all our dishes. Carrabba's may be the best Italian food you ever tasted.
Hey, this is new.
Don't.
What is that?
It's a chicken.
A chicken?
Well, sort of. A lot of chicken you find in supermarkets has been tampered with, injected with salt, phosphates, and things.
Does it bite?
Yes.
At Sanderson Farms, our chicken isn't injected with any phosphates or broths. It's always just 100% chicken. Any modifying is up to you.
We could build thousands of new schools or hire 1 million new teachers. We could make sure every child has insurance. Instead, under George Bush, America is alone, spending tens of billions to rebuild Iraq with no plan for success. After almost 4 years, when is George Bush going to start taking care of America? Shouldn't America be a top priority? The Media Fund is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
You're watching News Channel 8 on your side.
As Jennifer Lee mentioned a bit earlier this morning, there are power lines down all across Polk County. Tonight, emergency crews are asking people to be very careful. News Channel 8's Lynn Carson joins us now live from Mulberry, continuing our team coverage. Lynn, good evening or good morning.
Good morning. We're actually at State Road 60 and 37, and you see those lights behind me? Well, the wind was whipping so hard at one point in time, those lights were actually vertical. Crews were out here for hours directing traffic. Just one of the things that they were dealing with today in Polk County. There is no doubt about it. Hurricane Charley made his presence known. The scenery around this Fort Meade sign, a glimpse of what Charley left behind. We were in the middle of town when the storm hit. We heard the wind, watched signs shatter, and saw firsthand the power of a Category 2 hurricane. To give you an idea just how strong the winds were, all you have to do is look behind this motel door. The couple who was staying here didn't feel safe in their trailer, so they rented a room. Fortunately, they got out before the roof caved in.
When the roof was ripping off, we thought we would be the next to go because it came off on this side, it came off on this side.
Ironically, the Florida motel was filled to capacity with guests like Elsa Reyes, people trying to get away from the hurricane.
This is the first time we've ever been in a hurricane, and we didn't know what to expect. We expected, they said, a little water, a little wind, nothing like this. But we're alive.
While most in Hillsborough and Pinellas County will remember Charley as a close call, memories in parts of Polk County will be much different. As Jen Lee told us earlier, half of Polk County is without power. A lot of people in this county are going to have to show some patience. The cleanup for some is going to be much longer than for others. Back to you.
All right, Linton, thank you for that. Right now, power is out to more than half of Polk County. That's about 300,000 people.
If you want an idea of the significance of this storm, the initial insurance payout for Andrew was $16 billion.
Right.
Ultimately, it's over $26 billion.
Right.
Before the storm has even left the state,
right,
they're already estimating $15 billion damage from this storm. So it's heavy duty.
This is part of it. I mean, we sit in the office, for a couple of hours and tell viewers as best we can where the storm's going, how strong it is. But this is the real lasting story of this storm, is the aftermath and the effect on people's lives. And this is the real heartbreaking part of our job, is to have to do these stories and report these stories. It is so tragic. These storms are powerful monsters, and there's no other way to describe them.
And you can be prepared as you want to be.
Right.
I mean, short of just leaving it and watching your belongings just blow away. There's not much you can do in a storm like that barrels through it. No amount of plywood over your windows is going to do the job when a storm that size
It certainly helps. I mean, it does help if you can keep the wind out of your home, and clearly in some cases it doesn't help. But those preparations do make a big difference, and people have to realize that if we're going to continue to see major hurricanes come into the state of Florida, and we will, we have to learn how to live with hurricanes and survive them and prepare for them.
2 more systems right now, 2 more lows, one leaving the Cape Verde Islands, and one is down in the Caribbean right now, following a similar course. So
yeah, it goes with what we've been saying here for years, that the experts are calling for a longer, perhaps 20 or 30-year period of a return to maybe more major hurricanes occurring in the state of Florida. And this is largely a cycle, a longer cycle. One we were in the 40s and 50s, lots of hurricanes came here, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the part of the 90s when most people moved to the state of Florida. We didn't see a lot of storms. And that's why we got a lot of folks having this false sense of security.
Well, there are direct hits, and then there are those feeder. I mean, the thing about a hurricane is that there's so many parts of it.
Right.
I mean, you may not even be the person, the area being directly hit by it, and yet you're still going to experience so much damage from it, which again is why you have to prepare.
Right.
You have to get ready for it.
tornadoes alone.
Right.
We can have one tornado that can be as big a news almost as this whole day has been.
Right.
In fact, this thing may have spurned who knows how many.
We were giving tornado warnings
All
throughout
day.
especially in those inland counties
All
on the
day
east
long.
side of the storm where the worst of it was. And it was an incredibly powerful storm, Category 4, 145 mile per hour when it made landfall down in the Pine Island area and eventually moving across Charlotte Harbor into Punta Gorda, where we're seeing some catastrophic damage there too. And then powered inland, right into a News Channel 8 viewing area, right through Hardy, DeSoto, right through Polk County. And even up until tonight, they had winds that were a little bit strong in Orlando.
I'll be
There goes
anxious.
the post office roof in Fort Myers.
I'll be anxious to see by light of day with Judge Chapin up in Eagle 8 too, because that gives you a real perspective of the type of damage. I remember seeing those photos from Andrew, literally, where you look down and there was like toothpicks.
Let's just pray it's not that bad.
Let's pray it's not that bad.
And each moment, each picture kind of unfolded this horrible picture of what happened after the day after Andrew, and that picture unfolded as the week went along. Let's hope, as you said, we don't see that same type of damage.
Please notice no one's driving that truck.
Right.
That was the wind just pushing it away. Well, Steve?
Yeah, the type of damage we're seeing here is certainly consistent with a Category 3 hurricane at the very least, and certainly Category 4. This is in Arcadia, so clearly this storm was a Category 3 as it rolled through Hardy, DeSoto, and Polk County earlier on today. It did lessen in intensity as it moved into like Orange County and certainly parts of northeastern Polk County, but still, as Jen said, in Polk County, and as you've seen down in Arcadia and up in Wauchula, Zolfo Springs, a lot of these urban areas, that's Arcadia. Paul Lamison was reporting live from this area, and literally, as we talked on the air, I said, can you hear that jet engine sound? And I think Paul captured that very well. It's really terrifying to sit there and watch this air and water go horizontal as you're watching with this roar. And clearly this can happen even in a shelter. Down trees all over the place. We've been talking to viewers. They lost power. They lost their cable, television, whatnot throughout the day. And of course the trees continue to come down and fall on those power lines. It was a tragic day, a historic day this Friday the 13th for Hurricane Charley, a major hurricane, a Category 4 strength developing today. And remember, at 11 a.m. the National Hurricane Center was forecasting that still to come directly over Tampa Bay, and then that storm shifted to the northeast. Thankfully for us here in the Bay Area, spared us a major storm surge catastrophe, unfortunately for our neighbors down to the south and in the inland areas. Here's a look at the storm right now as it moves off of the east coast. It is still a Category 1 hurricane with 85 mile per hour winds moving through Orlando tonight, 85 mile per hour wind gust. Through Daytona, 90 mile per hour wind gusts. So this still was packing quite a punch as it moved up the east coast, and there'll be quite a bit of damage in this corridor as well. Closer to home, things are quiet. Chance to dry out, it looks like. About a 50% chance of a shower developing. It's still summertime in the Bay Area, so showers are going to pop up throughout the day, but overall, certainly in the tropic weather, things have quieted quite a bit. Down to the south in this area, still some showers coming on shore, that flow of moisture. Not severe weather by any means, but it's certainly out there at this point. So let's talk about Charley. The numbers, 29.1 north, currently 81.1 west. And again, you can see that forecast track, 8 p.m. on Saturday, 8 p.m. on Sunday, moving fast as a tropical storm up the East Coast. So folks in the Carolinas are still going to feel the punch from this storm over the next 24 hours. I want to take a look at the Viper model because if you recall, I've been watching the past 2 days or so. The Viper computer model did a great job when a lot of the other models were going in a completely different direction. So we'll follow the path here, the short term, right through the eastern portion of Virginia, through D.C., and eventually up through Philly and up across the Northeast. That's where the storm, according to Viper, which did a fantastic job with this storm in terms of forecasting it, again, consistently called this storm into the Fort Myers area when National Hurricane Center and all the models, the spaghetti models that we showed you, pulled everything off to the west. So you got to give a heads up. And for me, personally, this particular model gained a lot of credibility during this tropical event, and I'll be watching it. Thanks, Bob. But again, that was quite impressive on that model, and it certainly earned a lot of respect from me today. All right, we'll continue to watch that in the future as we have tropical systems. Hopefully it's a very, very, very long time. We have to pick up now from this storm. As you can see it moving offshore, we say goodbye and good riddance to it. Still have some very good convection going on, spotty convection, some leftover cloudiness, and of course the pop-up showers, leftover moisture here moving onshore in the overall flow. Overall, the southeast is relatively quiet except for that system. Here's a replay of the storm again. Hurricane Charley coming in, as we said, near Charlotte Harbor, Punta Gorda, and Pine Island area, Boca Grande as well. That tornado watch that was in effect, and that was good because good it was up, not that good that we had tornadoes, but there was reported at one time in Hardee County 3 tornado touchdowns by the EOC in that area. And you can see where the storm is now, still a remaining tornado watch wisely. That was busy afternoon for severe weather in the inland areas, and then of course the meat of the storm itself moved onshore with those powerful winds that Paul Lamison captured so well. This is rather curious. I did this map about 3-4 days ago, long before the storm made landfall. I was actually looking at the path of the storm forecast by the National Hurricane Center at the time, and it was very close to the Hurricane Donna path, so I went back into history back in 1960 and took a look at this storm. 100-mile-per-hour winds were reported back in 1960 in Polk County, and guess what? 44 years later, 100-mile-per-hour winds in Polk County, and that path is very similar to Donna and very similar in destruction, but clearly it's a lot different landscape. A lot more folks live in Polk County than they did in 1960, and as a result, unfortunately, like we're going to see, much more damage occurred. Here's our 2 tropical systems, a new one right there, that's Danielle, and this is Tropical Depression number 5. Jen talked about this at the top of the newscast. This one, Danielle, developing near the Cape Verde Islands and continuing to move off here to the northwest. The numbers on Danielle, 12.7 north, 24.8 west, forecast to move as a tropical storm to the northwest. There again is our new tropical depression, the islands right about there. Give you a better geographic reference here, 9.4 north, 48.3 west, fairly far south. West winds at 21 miles per hour now. Moving west, rather, at 21 with winds of 30 miles per hour, and let's just not think about that right now. 75 degrees, that's about it, isn't it? West winds at 5 miles per hour. People laughing say, yeah, we've had enough of tropical weather for today. 7-day forecast, 50% chance of showers for Saturday. For Sunday, a 40% chance, highs upper 80s. And as we cruise on through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll stay with about a 40 to 50% chance of a shower or thunder shower. So a chance to reflect and certainly to pick up here and help our neighbors here in the Bay Area recover from major Hurricane Charley. Isn't that path to Donna very interesting compared to Charley? I just drew it, hand drew it. It's not official track or anything, but after watching the storm, it is.
Yeah, but
very
4
close.
days ago, for you to have done that, I sometimes wonder what goes on inside that.
No. I was looking at the Hurricane Center's track.
Yeah, you have more than electronic wizardry at your fingertips. You've got a sense for this sort of thing.
Well, thanks, Bob.
And we're
Thanks,
lucky
Steve.
to have you on our side.
Well, I'll say.
We'll be back with tonight's winning lottery numbers. Also, Jackie Barron has the latest damage report out of Sarasota.
News Channel 8 weather is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Get the feeling Toyota.
Honey. We'll take this one.
It's Birdine's Macy's Superstar Sale for 3 days only. Save 40% on the greatest mattress sets. Plus, get an extra 10% off and free delivery. And with your Birdine's Macy's card, get an extra 6% off. Or pay no payments, no interest for 6 months. At Burdines Macy's, way to shop.
It only happens once a year, and finally the wait is over. Stadium Toyota's nationwide clearance event is happening right now. That means you can get great interest rates and huge factory rebates on the entire award-winning Toyota lineup. Get your price and payment in 15 minutes. Delivery in just 1 hour. This is your chance to drive your dream vehicle for the price and terms you will love. Plus, when we make a deal, we'll pay off your trade no matter what you owe. And remember to ask about our Tires for Life program. So get to Stadium Toyota today and save big during our nationwide clearance event.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message. One of the most important parts of a reform agenda is to encourage people to own something. Own their own home, own their own business, own their own health care plan, or own a piece of their retirement. Reforms that trust the people, reforms that say government must stand on the side of people. Because I understand if you own something, you have a vital stake in the future of America.
Tonight's Cash 3 numbers, 437. Play 4, 7, 3, 4, 8. Fantasy 5, 3, 5, 8, 23, and 35. And tonight's Mega Money, 2, 11, 30, 35, and 9.
The Hot August sale, now at Sofa Express. You'll find factory direct savings store-wide. Over 100 beautiful sofa styles, all available for next day delivery. Or express yourself with a custom order. They're on sale too. And only Sofa Express can deliver in 30 days or less. Pay nothing for 1 year. That's no down payment, payments, or interest for 1 full year. Store-wide savings during the Hot August sale. Only at Sofa Express. Here today, home tomorrow.
He was 9 years old when he was kidnapped at gunpoint. I still miss Jimmy every day.
One of the first calls we got was from Congressman Deutsch.
Peter Deutsch was there for us when Jimmy went missing. It was like his own child was missing.
We will always be grateful to him for that.
I think that he's saved probably many children's lives because of things that he has done. I think Peter Deutsch will make a good senator.
Make a very good senator.
I'm Peter Deutsch, and I approve this message.
Pretty extraordinary. In Sarasota, emergency leaders went from bracing for the big one to reopening barrier islands, all within a 6-hour span. Sarasota reporter Jackie Barron has more on the sense of relief tempered by sadness for the county's neighbors to the south. She continues tonight's 8 on Your Side team coverage.
A peaceful sunset on Lido Beach makes for an unexpected end to what most originally feared as Sarasota's worst nightmare.
I'm very thankful, but it's also very, I have mixed emotions right now. My great fortune is somebody else's misfortune, and I don't forget that.
By 8 o'clock, folks lined up at the base of the Ringling Causeway Bridge to go home.
If y'all want to wait, it's up to you, but...
The overwhelming sense of relief that their home lie ahead intact was obvious.
We feel like the citizens are going to say that we're crying wolf the next time because it didn't happen this time. Just take a look at what happened to our neighbors and keep in mind that it could have been us. And we just missed this storm. But we can't revel in the fact that we did because we have to wake up in the morning and it's a sobering thought to find out what happened to our neighbors.
At the final major briefing of the day, emergency officials announced plans to shift their help to the south.
We are relaying requests for Charlotte County to the state of Florida. They've lost communications capability.
Making the messy yards and power outages affecting some 9,000 people here in Sarasota County a minor inconvenience. In Sarasota, Jackie Barron, News Channel 8.
Even though Sarasota emergency leaders reopened the barrier islands, Northport remains closed to the public. One other problem in the Sarasota County island area, water. Folks who live in the unincorporated areas of Siesta Key could face problems with their sewer system. Also, for those living on Longboat Key, a boil water advisory remains in effect, most likely through the weekend till Monday.
We'll be right back.
After my divorce, I was faced with dating again, and I wondered if women would still find me attractive. I've been dating a whole lot now, and I've really noticed a difference. Girls pay a lot of attention to me.
Hello, I'm Dr. John Parker. Hair loss is an all too common problem, but finally there's good news.
The Parker solution to hair loss?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
You've been waiting all year for this moment to arrive. The one and only clearance at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. A sure time when you can get the best savings of the year on every Lincoln and Mercury, including Navigator, the midsize Aviator, and the versatile Mountaineer. Get 0% APR for 60 months or up to $5,500 cash back. Plus your dealer's best model year-end price. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer and be satisfied.
A good education is the key to high-paying jobs. I'm Betty Castor, and I approve this message. As university president, I brought businesses together with universities to help create Florida's high-tech corridor and thousands of jobs for Florida's families. In the Senate, I'll work to improve our public schools, provide tuition help so more young people can go to college, and penalize companies that take jobs overseas. Together, we can improve education and strengthen Florida's economy.
Get your Storm Team 8 personal forecast at TDO.com. It's an hour-by-hour weather forecast for any address. Go to TDO.com. Keyword personal forecast.
Too often, big companies break promises or treat people unfairly. That's when I try to help.
News Channel 8 Stacy Scheibel, solving consumer problems, getting on your side.
Kay Michaels couldn't get AOL to listen when she wanted out of a promotional offer.
They tell you that they're going to credit your account, and then it never happens.
It's irritating.
It's irritating.
So I challenged AOL and got results.
If you missed this News Channel 8 report, go to TBO.com, keyword problem solver.
I defended this country as a young man, and I will defend it as president. We need a strong military, and we need strong alliances. And then we will be able to tell the terrorists, you will lose and we will win. The future doesn't belong to fear, it belongs to freedom.
The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
A memo went out. Did you get it? It's calling for an end to individuality. It says that movies should be formulaic. It demands a style be ordinary. And sedans, well, they should just blend in. No leather interiors or navigation systems or powerful V6 engines. Funny, we never got that memo.
Before we leave, we're going to take, I guess, final look at things, but give us a sort of an update and a look ahead.
Well, morning forecast. We've been so busy. We've been throughout the day talking about the hurricane. Just to give you a heads up, it'll be mostly cloudy in the morning. There's about a 50% chance of a shower. Mild overnight low near 77 degrees. I wanted you to look at this once again, this piece of history crossing the state, very close to Donna's Path in 1960. Hurricane Charley on Friday the 13th, 2004, doing what it did across the state today.
The best thing about history is that we can learn from it.
Yeah.
And we'll certainly learn from this storm.
But if we were to learn from history, we wouldn't have to repeat it. Mother Nature insists that from time to time, as in Donna in 60, we must repeat it.
Yeah.
When it comes to weather.
Jay Leno is next.
When severe weather strikes, turn to the team with the technology to strike back. Introducing Storm Team 8 Viper.
We can actually see inside the storm to pinpoint danger.
It gives you a different perspective. We can change angles, view a storm's rotation.
Look at the mapping. It's clear, easy to understand.
Viper allows us to forecast better.
For accuracy, the choice is clear. Storm Team 8 Viper on News Channel 8, on your side.
It's about one thing.
Coverage. Fanatical. Box coverage. And that means game. Preseason game. From News Channel 8 on More TV 32. That's right.
News Channel 8
presents the Bucks on More TV 32. Saturday at 7. The Bucks.